Oh, I already broke something. Ah. Okay. Hello, this is your favorite cat's favorite elf, Tabula Elf here. My stream deck just imploded on itself, so I don't have that right now. Gonna try a quick reboot on that. Anyways, we only are doing 4 submissions today, and I have the request to do spread first because Manta Ray is gonna be busy in an hour. So we're gonna look straight into Manta Ray. Okay, rest of the stream make ultimate game which utilizes all submitted libraries. I am reading from the Discord. Imagine just making a library out of everything. You could even do that actually, because like hot glue is like its own tool. But you could use it to import everything. But that's it. Alright, spread it out. I mean, of course, we have the project page. I did say last stream, because I found out there's more submissions that don't have a V1. I might just ignore the V1 requirement, because I don't feel like it's really going to be fun to moderate long term. Okay, so keeps you spread lets you keep your data in an Excel workbook, e.g. from Excel, while developing validate data when GameMaker loads it. As a result, as a normal GML structure. Then when you build your project, you get rid of the Excel file and you save JSON file seamlessly. Okay, so just be able to use Excel files mainly. That's nice. And close out of that. There is a lot here. I'm going to do what I've been traditionally doing and just opening these up in GitHub. Or cleaning them. And then opening up in GameMaker. Spread it out. Spread it out. Yeah, that's my intent. It's a separate repo. Oh, I see. It's right here. Okay. An interesting choice to have a separate repo for it. Really interesting choice. Yeah, I won't lie. That's not what I usually see people do, really. Not even I do that. Alright, well, I got the demo up. This will do. Alright. Also may as well look in here. That's... no. Okay. I'm guessing there isn't a lot in here. I guess this is just the final export. Okay. Oh, hey! There you are. How are you doing? You also need to download the sample Excel file and placing your... You know, I gotta admit, usually when we talk about having an example, I mean it's like a fully complete example. I don't think we should be having to download so many things at once. I'm doing good. I have coffee. Lots of coffee. I love coffee. Alright, but anyways, I got the Excel sheet. I'm down. Right? Such a good name. Such a good name. I don't pronounce it though, because I'm afraid to. I'm a coward. My misophonia would no, not my misophonia. Verbal dyspraxia would not like that. It's terrifying. There's a canonical... Well, you know, that makes it even worse, because the problem is, like, with my condition, I actually have to literally think about how to say it, because I can, like, literally I can't just say, like, the muscles in my head, just like... Voroni? God damn it, make me say things again. You just wanted to show the terribleness of my disability, don't you? Don't you, Gleb? Okay. Well, I got the file in. I've downloaded it. I've ported it over. We are good to go. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Already. Okay. At least we have a nice example. Alternative, if you view my name as a little guy standing as a teapot, the S is a handle, the R is a spout, and the D is a glasses. Okay, you're the little teapot. Alright, I'm just gonna pronounce. I'm gonna just say that as your name for now on. And in fact, hold on. I'm just gonna copy that somewhere. Alright, for now I'm gonna pronounce you as the little guy standing as a teapot. That the S is the handle, the R is the spout, and D is the glasses. That is. I honestly wish I could just set this as a nickname, but that's too long. Yeah, okay. We'll look at the Excel. Actually, let me make sure I don't have anything sensitive on there. So the last thing I want to do is open it up. I forget Microsoft Excel. Okay. Alright, we're good. Mr. Teapot? Yeah, Mr. Teapot for sure. Okay, so we can edit it. We can edit tower information. I can set the attack delay. I can set the range to a high number. Let's try 128 and save that. Actually, should probably read the rest of this while I'm at it. Spread some more. Okay. Ah, I was reading that. Okay, yeah. Simple and effective. So I could then make the cannons, say, free. Oh. Wait, did that error? Ow. This is pretty nice. I don't think it liked me setting it to a free for that number of projectiles. But I can set the cost to something smaller. Yeah. This is kind of nice, actually. Yeah, it is definitely similar to Figgy in the sense. A row level validation. Okay. So I guess in a way to kind of like catch out people from like making changes they shouldn't. That's my assumption. Actually, we'll expand this up a bit. No, I don't think that's the exact aspect. But I like it. You can actually kind of change things. It's attacking. This tower is very dead. I'm gonna put it all a little poison tower. Can also upgrade, I think. No. Yeah, I get the idea. I like it. I think it is a nice alternative for when you actually have like a database to kind of work from, like Excel or similar. I think this is good. I can set a slime to be much smaller. Oh, it's much smaller. Yep. That is actually pretty nice. The one thing I would probably say I think could be a bit nicer is maybe as an option, it'd be nice if you could have it copy back to the project data files. So you actually have like a saved reference. Because at the moment, as you've said, it generates the JSON data, which you can use. But I know some libraries, mine, I know Juju's done a few similar, and I know a few others, essentially do try to like copy metadata over whenever possible, straight back to the project directory. It's not a necessity, but it's like, it's a nice quality of life. I guess a nice complement feature would be exporting data XSL, so you build XSL mid-development when you want from lots of hard-coded values to spread. Yeah, like I think that could also be nice too. Just like taking the data you have already and exporting it out could also probably be nice. Yeah. I think that could be nice. You can also change the decorative. That's all good. This is like the 4th library I've managed to crash so far. Just so you know, you're not alone. I had others. I've managed to crash Gleb's. I've managed to crash Juju's hot glue. I've also managed to crash... Who else did I actually crash, actually? I'm trying to remember. I think it wasn't Spret. Chitter, I think on the technicality I did. Yeah, I think it was Chitter. Just that. Adding, yes, adding. Oh, actually, yeah, I did actually crash adding. I flipped to config and then that crashed too. After I tried one of the operators. Turns out last minute it didn't get added in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just good at crashing things apparently. I am the tester. I am QA. Alright, we'll change this back though. But yeah, I will say I do like the demo. I mean, if I try hard enough, probably. I probably could. I think I have more fun playing this demo though. I think this is probably the second fun. Yeah, that's one thing I am not too sure. How does the validation data work? Is it specifically defined in here? Or do you define it elsewhere? Ah, okay. I'm just gonna quickly browse through. Right, okay. And then from here you can get required is integer, min, max, exclusive. So you can, this is where you define all these properties that are allowed. I love that you managed to submit a game to the not a game jam. Yeah, I know, right? We're just submitting games now. It's all games. I mean, to be fair, I think the most favorite moment I've had of the last Cookbook Jam was that someone actually did submit an actual game, not made in Game Maker. And then I wrote a comment on this saying, like, you know, this is not, like, for games, right? Like, this is for libraries and tools. They, like, immediately deleted the submission and, like, bailed on the same day. That was great. But yeah, okay, I see you now. This is where you can, like, define, like, the min and the maximum. Projectiles fired. Actually, yeah, so that could have worked. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I'm still confused about that. But that's okay. I am learning. I am learning. Still like it though. Go back to the callback at the end. This one? Right. I see. Actually, let me see. What? How many more arguments do you have here? You got invalidation. Also, that's a lot. Okay. So I'm guessing this just determines the outcome. So in theory, someone could just null it out and then there's no more validation. Everything is valid. No, but I'm kidding. I will say this is a lot getting into it. It did make my head spin a little. I kind of feel I've thrown a bit into the deep end on this aspect. But I do like it. I'm gonna pull this on the side. Gonna have a quick read through the wiki, or the readme. Basically, unlevel validation to prevent that. Per each item, you define additional rules. For example, normal attack cannot be greater than upgraded attack for a single unit. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That aspect makes sense. So I guess then, this would have to be a 5 and a 3. Actually, no, a 4 and a 3. Maybe if I wanted to do that. Okay, that was the case. I guess I'm not really used to it because in other genres, I would like, or in other games at least, when there's an upgrade would just let me upgrade. But I mean, this is just how the example is defined, so that's not really anything particular. And table level validation can create a rule that checks for all items with condition. For example, some of probabilities need to be 1, etc. Right. I think I might have saw that with the enemies. Yeah. The enemies here. This would be in the case where it all have to be at least 1 or less. Yeah, okay. That is nice, actually. It kind of does ensure that, like, you have a balance. And when it comes to enemy waves. I think that's nice. That's actually nice. That's really nice. I like it. I still lost, though. I'm terrible at this game. A game I can never win. So the slimes just move slowly. I am very good at tower defense games, you can tell. Oh. Okay, you can also disconnect it as well, which I assume is just a cleanup. What does this demo have else? Utility functions, you got state machine, you got spread itself, you got scribble. Tabby defense. Tabby defense, except for there is no defense, it's literally just broken. It's a sad day. Sad day for Tabby defense. Alright. I'm gonna have a quick browse through the wiki while we let the defense tremble in the background. This entire kingdom is lost. I'm gonna burn it to the ground. Actually, I guess that's another thing really you could think about. Okay, I think I have a few notes in general. The first note is not as a necessity, as I've said, but like, be able to just have at least some option to copy this data straight into the data files is probably a nice to have. Not a necessity, but a nice to have. And like, the best way to do that is via disabling the sandbox. There are, of course, better approaches you could probably throw in there, like an extension or two. But ideally, a lot of people in the library dev community do that. That just makes it a little bit easier and more automated, so you don't have to really put as much effort to having to export the JSON files. The second thought I have is, I guess the hot reload manual is fine. I think it would be nice if you could make changes and you could have it also auto reload after a certain amount of time. You can, in a similar sense, do the same thing. It's just like a file check to see if the contents have changed or not. But that is also just an option, not a necessity. Yeah, like, if I'm designing a game, I want to be able to make changes, like on the fly. And I'd rather keep as much as development time as possibly condensed. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to move the JSON files anyways, it's like, I may as well just automate it. You got source control, you literally be fine. And it's like, well, yeah, in that case, yeah, if you got a hash already, you can just reuse it for that. You already got half the work done there. I do like Alice's suggestion on actually like data migration. I don't know if that would be in the ballpark for spread, but I guess that would be a nice challenge to be able to like convert data to an Excel spreadsheet or like migrate. Just like for someone who's already got like an existing framework and just doesn't like the current structure. Like maybe they don't like their JSON database. Like the way they're doing JSON. Food for thought. Other than that, I don't have too many strong, like any other opinions so far about this. I guess the other thing is, does it have to be just XSLX file formats? Or could it be another table-like format as well that could be supported? because I'm not really sure how often someone will use this aspect as well. I mean, it's just an opinion. I think there's people out there who prefer just a simple table as well. So I think that could be an option, perhaps. But I guess if someone wanted to do that really, I guess the best of both worlds would be someone can always maybe make a custom parser, and then maybe that could just be added to support. And I've in my localization library, I actually did something like that where if you wanted to add like a custom file format, or you didn't like the file format on how I read the file format or on a certain file type, yeah, a custom parser. Yes. We can segue to that in a second. Perfect timing. But yeah, okay. I think that's like pretty much the main point I have right now. I do like it already. Ass parser. Yeah, we already looked at the ass parser. That was from earlier. Yeah, no, I yeah. My take was the many indies who game designers because of the GDs edit the stuff in Excel Google Sheet and then send it over back and forward, export to JSON. So why not work with the XL directly and then have it export to JSON automatically? Well, yeah, like, I get the intent is there as well. I guess I am just thinking about it as on the other perspective that there is going to be people out there who are not game designers, or at least use a lot of spreadsheet software, or just prefer to using CSVs. And I guess it's like, the more you support in terms of formats, the less restrictive it is in general, which means it's like someone could just pull up any editor that can make like a spreadsheet, and then they could just export to one or two formats. It's all about giving a little bit of variety in terms of options, rather than hard coding to a singular one. Yeah, I mean, usually that kind of format you'd probably find more so just like as like an exported basic table. It's not a great table, but there are people who just work with it. I'm one of those people. I just work with it. It does fine for my needs. But again, there is just options. That's like a side thought, really. Other than that, you have detailed the README in a lot. Oh yeah, right. I should probably say as well, I think the demo should also have the Excel file as well, like straight up. If so, like I don't mind it being a separate repo, but it should just have the Excel sheet. Because if someone is going to be testing your library, the last thing you want them to do is give them more work to just test out the demo than to just have the demo in a state where they can use it. That's probably the closing thoughts I have on here. Other than that, is there anything else you particularly want me to look at? Because I think I've kind of got a good gist of this now. And I think I've shown mostly everything that's important. Actually, I didn't look at the configs. We've got dev mode. We've got allow dev mode outside IDE. That's nice, actually. I like that. Long message level. So we got message levels. Let me see. Do we have configs listed here? Yeah, right here. Set the possibility of the log messages using the spread level enum. I guess that's another thing. Another note. Configs could also just have comments in here as well. similar to the README, because not everyone's always going to be able to just access the internet. So having the configs here would at least give some indication of what's going on. Yeah, checking a library is already something someone may find potentially wasteful, and that the library isn't good for one's needs. They will have wasted time researching it. Adding friction to checking library functionality makes the research calculus even more discouraging. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't really want to have any kind of friction. You want to be able to present everything a library can do as much as you can, or at least have an example that showcases what it's doing. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to have a lot of things going on it. It doesn't have to have the most amazing, like, customizable menu with like a bunch of buttons, gadgets, and gizmos. Those are nice to have. Don't get me wrong. But as long as someone can just boot up the project and load up the game and just be ready in like a few seconds, then that's all you need. I think even like the submission I submitted in, literally the example is that you need Spout 2, otherwise you can't use it. Because it requires Spout 2. It's not even like a real submission, it's more like a joke submission at this point. But it's my joke submission, it's okay. But yeah, no. Definitely add in some comments in here, because even though I can read it from here, it's still going to be problematic if someone happens to have no internet at all. And they need to like change the message level to something else. Any kind of note is better than no note. But okay. As for this, this is actually a very simple change. Yep. I'm just gonna show one thing. If I disable the file system sandbox. Oh right, I put in the wrong thing. Ignore me. I've now got the JSON files generating in here, so I don't even have to touch the Excel sheet. Like, I don't have to even drag this anymore. It's literally like a few small changes that someone could really make. You probably want some checks in here though, obviously, to make sure that nothing else is going wrong. But I mean, I'm assuming there isn't any. But that's just how little work that needs to be done on that user end. If they don't want this, they can just always nip this back out. But you can also just make it a config. I think if lexicon, yeah, all good. In lexicon, I kind of did something similar. The only difference is that I made it also so if it can't access data files, like if testing this on a mobile phone, for example, it'll try to fall back to a different location to store data in temporarily. But that's just because I kind of have to. Alright. Okay. That is Spread by Manta Ray. Thank you for your submission. I like this nonetheless. It's getting a star. To be fair, I've been starring everything, but I do find a use in everything. That gets a star. You also got a fork. Alright, I think Juju forked it, didn't he? Alright. I forgot how to look at forks here. Well, whatever. I know Juju made a fork. That's what I do know. But yeah, this is good. Okay. We're gonna segue to the next thing. And that is Stuart. Is that how I pronounce it? I don't know. I don't know how if that's how I pronounce it. We're gonna go anyways. This is a string reading and writing library. Provides utilities for reading and writing text in GameMaker. Its features include Reader for processing individual bits of text. A parser for parser base for interpreting a whole format. A writer for writing individual bits of text. And a formatter base for representing entities in the given format. Stroot. Yeah, I don't know. My brain ain't braining. Wait, how huge are manta rays? I kind of forget. I think they're relatively big. Yeah. Yeah, they're big. Probably not even the biggest, actually. I know, he's another one. Here we go. Big. Big. So big. Big. Small. Big and small. Oh. AC Black Flag Precinct. Ah. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game at all. Not once in my entire life. That's a fun fact. I don't know why. I just never got into it. Anyways, a demo is available. Yep, we got our demo. We are gonna try demo. Opera GX. Alright. We got a BB code parser. Ooh, I like BB code parser. Ooh. It's colored too. Me neither. I'm not alone. Hooray. I'm so glad. I like this. It's fancy smancy. Yeah. Actual BB code. You could probably actually use this then to format like Scribble. Like just formatting Scribble with just BB code. That's nice. We got a mismatch tag. Some tag systems, you may close tags out of order. For example, you may begin some bold text and then add italics on top of it and then remove bolding before closing italics. I wonder if this works here too. Fancy. Close tag, there's some star, rainbow, example, be bold, strike, you can wave the text around and the content. Okay. Actually, I should read this. This demonstration showcases the Stuart reading functionality. At its core is a Stuart reading reader, processor, and advanced visual text, and digitally more complex pieces can be defined from patterns. There's also a Stuart parser wrapping the reader and building up the actual result. Because the parser implements a task processing interface, the process can be spread over multiple frames. This specific demonstration showcases parsing of a BB code-like format. It has tags wrapped in square brackets and special characters such as emojis represented with colon delimited words. You can process one of preset examples or choose a custom file to load the input from. Custom files are available in the web demo. Also, you can choose the processing speed, how much time is spent parsing each frame in milliseconds. Finally, you can cancel an ongoing processing process. It's easier to test with large example and low processing speed, otherwise the processing is finished too quickly to be cancelled. For certain data, in particular the large examples, the result output will be too large to fit in this window. In case you can scroll through it by using mouse wheel when hovering the panel. Hovering mouse left near the top or bottom area of the panel, holding up or down the keyboard buttons, pressing page up, page down, keyboard buttons. More examples will be prepared by hand. Dorans, for example, uses text from that. Yep, okay. I have read it all. Alright. We also got the table formatter. That's a big table. How long is this table? Oh, thank God. Alright. We got a malformed example with some equipment and effects and trucks. Okay. Okay. Oh, I actually haven't seen the processing speed. Let me go to the BB code example again. Okay. I like how you can like get it like near instant. And then of course you can cancel. Alright, that's all the parts I guess it has in process. Yeah, okay. Maybe I need like a slower speed. That's all I need. But okay. There's a table parser and a table formatter. Okay. Bad. An empty file. We got an overflow of columns. Okay. Actually, how long does this take? Near instant. Okay, and we got the indented object formatter. We got a small example, a large example. Wow, this is rather formatted. No, this kind of makes it pretty readable actually. Nice. Okay. Of course, it's like near instant if I do that. Yeah. And we also got a test. We got a reading guide. A writing guide. You know, that reminds me, I should really release my GX Games extensions. Because I keep on forgetting that this exists. And I've already made a patch for removing this entirely. It's not that hard. Like a drag and drop thing I have at this point. I need to get around to doing that. We could also do a stress test. That was a fast stress test. Alright. I'll actually open up the repo. Oh yeah, but I like the logo. The logo is like nice. It actually symbolizes like that's like reading text. Or like sampling actually. It's as good. Alright. Actually, I think the one thing I did want to see was the custom file example, but I don't really have a custom file example on hand. Stewart, spread, sprout. Yeah, that's what actually we're gonna make a game on. It's just all of those at once. I wonder if I can Don't think I actually really have any custom files to actually throw at this. But I can at least select them. I can select one of the existing ones at least, as opposed to clicking on the button that's there. But actually, I will side demonstrate with Opera GX what I mean. Material for Wordle, yes. All perfect for Wordle. I'm just gonna pause something real quick. This is something I need to add in so people can just use this instead of having to be stuck with Opera GX's default system. But you see how there's no pause button at all? Like, none at all. It doesn't exist. I've deleted the pause button with a simple extension. It's like magic. I just figured I mentioned that. Yes! Nothing can stop us now. No, but seriously, I do need to release it. I could have actually had for the jam, just released that and 2 others. But I don't want to. I kind of want to add pretty logos to it. But then I have to do art. And then I'm lazy. So I'm not doing that. Alright. We don't need that now. May as well also check the reading and writing guide. Still basic protects basic text writing utilities, exposes the writer that can be write vowels and lines to keep track of indents. Also has a formatted base for writing complex and large entities. Alright, we're going deeper. We are going deeper. The following bit of code demonstrates generates some example code. And then produces the following output. Okay. Interesting. You can produce a nice formatter. We'll read the writer. The writer function is available for the Stuart writer constructor. It exposes methods of writing individual vowels and spans of text, entire lines, and even multi-line blocks of text. Also has indentation management, as is often relevant for various data coding formats. Actually, you know, I had a side thought. What if I just make it so the next time I do a cookbook jam, one of the submission requirements is that you have to give me a pronunciation of the library in case I can't just pronounce it for some reason. I'm gonna do that now. I can do that. It's gonna get really whimsical and silly. I can feel it. Also, I have ads in a couple of minutes. So YouTube is an option in case you don't like ads. I'd snooze it, but I couldn't. I've already done too many snoozings. Actually, no, I can't. Like, I have one. Alright, the writer function is very strata, blah, 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 blah. Often relevant. Alright, need to run. Thanks a lot for the suggestion review. No worries. Have a good time at work. And good luck with the meeting. Yep. All goody. The VODs will still be up for like a long time. See ya. Alright. It's backed by a buffer. Buffer-based writing should be more efficient than more text is written. Each string concatenation, adding 2 or more strings together, requires reserving memory for a new string every time, which causes slowdown, so there are many strings added every frame. In contrast, if there are many strings added in every frame. In contrast, writing to a buffer requires new memory only when the current buffer capacity can contain the added text. The writer functionality can be wrapped in a formatter, which controls the flow of text writing and allows spreading the writing operation across many frames. Formatting will be described in more detail in the next chapter.
Don't cry.
Getting rid of the song. Confused and creative as constructor. Okay. Run the spread. I probably shouldn't read too many of this, but I am gonna have a quick read through. Position, length. Okay. Just new SATA add. Result retrieval. I think I would say similar to Manta Ray, although I can also say more in the regards to Gleb. I think this is equally as well documented. Like, it is really detailed. And that is good. We love details. I praise details. While the writer exposes functionality of writing individual character lines, format coordinates process of input representation in the given format. Implement a formatter for any particular format provides the suitable equivalent attack process interface described in this page. Yes. So you can use for gradual process across multiple frames. You know, I still wish we had user prefabs available to us. That would be nice to have. I also dread when we get user prefabs. I really dread it because it's like, they are getting better, but we still don't have a proper like authentication like system for Vertigo. Because it's like, I kid you not, when I get the registry up for the Game Maker Kitchen up more publicly, and you know, in a position where it's not going to run out of storage, and probably isn't volatile exactly in its current state. Well, not volatile, but more like just more better managed for data traffic in general. I am going to have to figure out how I'm going to do accounts, because the current system, actually, I'm just going to draw this out. So the way that it basically works, did I not include? I thought I had this included to have zoom straight in. Well, you know, okay, this is fine. I can just draw like this. So I should probably do a quick recap. I have this little app that I made for myself, so I can draw anywhere on screen and it'll appear as is. I've mentioned it a few times. I haven't shown it on the stream so far. So this is the actual app itself. It has a lot of control. Not enough for everything, but enough for me to get by. Anyway, so NPM. Actually, yeah, I'm going to see if I can write that smaller. So we've got a node package manager. That's our little package manager. Actually, that could be a better P. No, screw it, whatever. This works. We've got our NPM manager. That itself is what GameMaker connects to. So let me just draw GM. This communicates with this. But also, we have a login layer. Ignore the terrible writing. I am low-key just eyeballing it here. I should actually just look at this. Alright, we've got our login layer. And of course that communicates with NPN as well. But the way the login, actually I should say a login / account layer, because it technically is an account layer. So we've got that, but this communicates to a file on disk. Can I? You know what? All right. This is kind of the process, basically. We got GM, it communicates with our package manager server. This which then connects to the login and account layer. which then connects to our little file. And the reason why I find it to be problematic is down to two reasons. Number one is that you would think there would be much security for this, but other than the fact that your password is encrypted with like probably the best encryption you can get your hands on in today's ecosystem, it just sucks. Like it's all just stored on a file, which means it's not really safe. It's also prone to corruption. The second aspect is that there's no group policy. So if I make someone an account for the registry, technically anyone can unpublish anyone else's works or override them. And I can't control that. So while the server exists and while it's technically ready in its own state, I'm trying to slowly push for a system where you can just log in and have control of your own stuff. Which is also the other aspect I'm also working on as well. Is because npm does support web logins, but Vertigo doesn't support web logins out of the box. They kind of have support for it now in one of the newer builds, but it's like incomplete. So I'm pretty much just waiting on either for that or for me to get something lazy and I just write the rest of the web login myself. And it's probably going to be the latter at this point, because I do want some kind of group policy when it comes to managing packages, in case someone decides to just download a package, like I'll try to unpublish a package that's not theirs. I also am thinking of like limiting scope by username, because I feel like that's way easier to manage. But these are all just thoughts I have about the package manager. I didn't want to save that. Get out of here. But yeah, no, I would love otherwise for prefabs to be out, because I do find it so versatile with their functionality. Like, the fact that you can have any dependency and they could be any version is great. The only other thing I think I have a bit of a nitpick issue with, and I don't think it's going to change, is that how they're going to handle updating a prefab is a little bit of manual work. Because when you actually use the prefab builder right now, as soon as you make an upload, it will actually upload it just fine. And when you download it, it will have its own separate prefab in its selection. So you have at least 2 different versions to switch from. That's not the biggest issue, but it's like, it's a little bit of work to having to manually update between all the projects that need to rely on it. But I guess that's a choice you have, at least if you want to use specific versions. So, a blessing and a curse in disguise. Anyways, we'll get back to reading this. I also have snoozed all the ads I could, so I have 2 minutes. Processing methods, these formatted includes house processing in the following way. Yep, actually, does it actually just include it? Yeah, okay, it does. And we got verific and decool. Decool, yay! All the dependencies. We got all the different kinds of stages, constructor implementations. We got an example. We got the reader. We have so many pages on it. Alright. I think I won't go through the entire thing in the second. But is there anything else you want me to poke at otherwise? Because so far I think this is actually really nice to have. Yeah, he did it. True, true. Actually, where would that be? I don't think it's in here. I think it's just the demo itself. Yeah. We'll look at the parser. That's there. 28 seconds. Okay. Got a from file. Okay. Honestly, this is actually pretty clean, all things considered. It's like really clean. Practice. Alright, we got ads now. You're forced to ads. You don't get ads at all? Oh. Well, splendid. I think there is actually explanations for that. There is region-based considerations where Twitch won't just serve you ads at all. So if you're like, I think, in certain parts of the world, you just won't get ads, ever. It's not all of EU. I know there's parts of EU that won't get ads. I don't recall, actually, hold on. Twitch ads. I wonder if there's a list. Alright. No ads either? Yeah, well, okay. I'm not really too sure. There's a few places in the world. I know aspects of Costa Rica. I know Russia doesn't get any. Ukraine apparently doesn't get any. I don't know about other aspects. Oh well. I can still have no ads. I can say eel ads anyways because they are eel. Oh, I don't want that. Anyways. Like I was saying, this is pretty clean overall. It's actually not that much work to go into it. in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, because I think usually when it comes to passes, they tend to be kind of long, or I guess in the case of one of my passes in one of my libraries, they have like multiple functions and they break down into different steps based on the conditions. But still, this is good. I like this. This is nice. It's simply it's not too much to go from. Yeah. I actually don't know how big Lexicon's one is, but I know at least it's big. The main one. Let me find it. Not that parser, not that one. I gotta find the text parser. Yeah, this main file here is over 700 lines of code, and most of it, other than this function here, is like handing all these bits of intricacies, which to be fair, I kind of wrote this half Lexa, half parser into one when I wasn't meant to, but I kind of rolled with it and said it's too late for me to go back and rewrite it. So now it's just like a mess. But yeah, like I have a handle args and I have the parse string, and this like handles like generic to see if there's tags or not. And then I have the actual template handler, which actually handles, that's like, yeah, somewhere around like 200 lines of code, 2 to 3. Most of that is just to handle a bunch of things, and also like arguments and all that. It is pretty gnarly in there. I haven't. Otherwise, everything else is kind of like handled like v function calls and other lookups. And like separate functions. Alright. I think I don't have any notes. Because I feel like every time I review your library, I feel like it's just... I no better way to say it. I think it's just perfect. Like, I tend to never find any real issues. Other than the fact I'm just like going through a lot of things at once. But that's just a me thing. There is so much here. I mean it seriously, like Gleb is the only other person who probably goes just as far as you in terms of like everything, in terms of documenting, in terms of the demos, in terms of like getting some good examples out. And even Gleb's has a crash. Or a bug. I can't get any here. I never can. Maybe the next Cookbook Jam we'll get a bug. Just for me. We'll get a change. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to really look at here though. I think I've seen and demonstrated about as much as I feel like there is to demonstrate. Gleb, I expect perfection, alright? If it's not perfect, it gets disqualified. You know this. I disqualify every imperfect one. You got a bug in fracture, disqualified. A bug in hot glue, disqualified. A bug in adding, disqualified. There's not a V1 release, disqualified. Your name is Tabula Alf, disqualified. No, in fact, vaporize. No, I do have some water, thanks. I like water. Yeah. There is quite a fair bit of that. Also, depending on the parser as well, is it kind of like differs in terms of I guess I'm just thinking. I tried an early Stuart version and latest GMC Jam and found running past it much quicker too. That's nice to know. Because like the only thing I mainly use passes for is whenever I actually need to run like pass some text in a specific format. And I do that a lot of the time. But like in the case of like lexicon, it's a really dumb parser because it just only needs to check for like 2 things, and the rest of it just doesn't care. But yeah, the more complicated a parser gets, the harder it is. But I guess also, like in this demo example, it is kind of like a bunch of things at once, because you also got like a formatter too. You also got a like a writer. You got sidebar ads. Damn, you're getting added. Get added. Okay, I think this is all I need to think about and look at right now. If there is anything else, you're free to shout out to me right this second that I haven't looked at. But I think that showcases everything. Well, that and me reading the rest of the wiki, which I'm probably not gonna do. But this is good. I like it. This is a great contribution. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Now I'm closing all of that. Okay. At this point, we only have 2 submissions left. We have a box blur and staging. Is anyone particular need to be busy or going to be busy in the next 30 minutes to an hour? If so, raise your hand. Otherwise, I will pick in an exact random order based on mood. We got staging and a box blur. Actually, Tara, can you still hear me? I don't know if the sidebar ad lets you hear me still. I've never really seen the sidebar ads actually on my end, to be honest. Okay, good. I didn't get a real response to my question in either case, so I'm going to assume that there's plenty of time today. I want to look at staging, because staging has a funny logo. I like the funny logo. I don't need that, read me. Staging. Staging is a game maker library that facilitates sequence task automation for game initialization. Oh, actually, this is similar to Alice's other library. Now I think about it, I forgot the name of it already. Jog my memory. I think it's similar, anyways. Because you also had like waiter. Yes, there we go, waiter. Yeah. Yeah. I actually literally thought of everything else but waiter on the top of my head. Yeah, hold on, let me get a link. I think it should be here on GMK. I got a link. Here you go. Yeah. Alright. Let's look at this example. Also, eventually redone the worker in CIMPL. I may eventually update way to match CMPL task-related interfaces. I actually kind of need to go back and update SimThreads, because SimThreads is like severely ancient in terms of its design, and I'm not happy with it. I actually can say that for the same for a lot of my libraries. Collage, for example, I really want to redo the entirety of it. I've already redone all of Lexicon. I could do it again. I'm not in the mood to redo Collage though, because Collage has a lot of work I've got to do. And I can't be bothered. It loaded asynchronously. That's great. That was the quickest example. I'm glad. Well, that's it. Damn it, complete. Okay, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, helps you split up, set up cells into 3 chunks, but you run in sequence rather than trying to run each time against the scripts in a single frame, which can cause barriers to happen, especially on console platforms. True. I mean, it's pretty simple and straight to the point overall. I mean, to be fair, I've seen smaller submissions, and I think that's okay. The library doesn't have to be big. It just has to meet its goal. And I mean, you've met its goal. That's all that matters. You could literally have a library on, like... Actually, a good example is Wengerline ages ago submitted a tile data library, and it was literally just, you have tile maps that could have data on top of them that you can access from the tile index, and that was it. That was literally the whole library. There was nothing else to it. Good enough. I think Cormex had something else that they were working on as well, that was like basically 5 scripts, and it was like, yeah, I can have 5 scripts, that's enough for me. I just, like, the only thing I'm against is what happened in the first Cookbook Jam, where we had one person who submitted, like, 3 scripts as separate submissions. Just 3 scripts. There was literally nothing to work from that jam, other than just assuming based on whatever they had it in. It was probably the only thing I did not like about that first jam at all. That and the people who were trying to self-promo based on a bit of rule lawyering. But, you know, the rules got redefined. They got better. I'm still not strict, though. But that's it. But anyways, you can create an instance. Okay. So, a thought here. I do like the fact you're willing to throw the stage manager up front to people. However, in my opinion, you can also just not include the instance. The instance can just exist in the background. It doesn't matter as long as people don't just yeet it with instance destroy all or deactivate everything. I think that's one thing I would at least change in your position. Because I think having to micromanage an instance is probably not something that you want to do. Yeah, I think Lunchbox has something like that. Yeah. That was it as well, Lunchbox. Yeah. Like, I think almost every time there's a library that has some kind of instance, like input, for example, most of it you get is just functions for interacting with input, but you don't really touch the input instance ever. It is basically hidden in the background. The only time you ever have to even touch the input object in any case is if you're destroying instances or you're deactivating instances. That's the only time where you have to add in extra precaution checks. And that is it. Other than that, I mean, I could say JS docs, but I mean, I don't really care about the JS docs, to be honest, so much in a submission. Because it's like, I mean, it's 6 weeks. You sure you can get them done, but there's a lot of things you can get done before then. And as long as there's some kind of documentation, it doesn't matter. So I'm not going to really comment on the argument names, or just at least see how they represent. I cannot speak today. I need to rip out my vocal cords. Representation of those arguments. That is fine. Yeah, you know what? I give up on saying it already as it is. But yes. Normally I can say it. I don't know why I can't say it right now. I want to have the possibility of multiple instances running at once as separate queues, so I'm not sure why that might be useful, though maybe you have multiple libraries so we're each using staging or something. Well, maybe. There's probably a lot of factors you can probably put into it. But I don't think there's many cases where you want multiple staging, especially considering the fact that we are single-threaded. So most of the benefits wouldn't really matter. I think what you may prefer, if anything, is having a single instance of staging. Actually, I'll give an example. In SimThreads, one of SimThreads' main functionalities is that you can have a job that you can fire and forget, and it just runs once. Or you can add in like loop logic into it, so you could do like essentially a for loop inside of a SimThread. And SimThread is basically an asynchronous green thread system, so it will just execute in the background and iterate over time. But the other thing I did with SimThreads too was that I'll actually get a quick little list. I should actually use my tablet pen instead. That'd be a little bit easier. I'm actually gonna write Apple. No, this is not good enough. Alright, well, anyways. I guess you could have your apple, orange, banana, and one of those could be a bit of like a for loop, so maybe, I don't know, has like 128 like iterations. This is actually pretty terrible to look at from here. Gonna actually just erase that. Gonna move it over more to the left. No, we'll just do numbers. We'll make it easier. So we've got our 3 numbers here. You might have our task 1, task 2, and task 3. Task 1 could be like, I don't know, a simple like destroy. Or actually no, we'll do like a bomb. We got like a little bomb like fuse going on. Maybe that's like gonna explode in a moment. This one could be like maybe a trying to think of another decent example. Maybe it's like loading a bunch of files at once onto disk. Or, you know, boxes. And then the third one could be just like Maybe modifying a bunch of cells, like slowly. So maybe we have like a whole grid. And maybe it's just like modifying all of those at once. I'm getting to my point here. Basically, the way SimThread works is that it'll go and start with one task. So I will start with, say, the bomb, then it explodes, then I get rid of it. Then it goes to task 2 to be like, okay, we are done with this section, but we have more tasks in the queue, so we're going to go straight ahead, and we're going to then knock out this one. Then we're going to go back, we're going to go this one, and then do that one, and then that one, scratch that out, rinse and repeat. I guess the whole point of it is that you could have it so rather than having multiple instances, you have one instance that just constantly goes through its list and tries to evenly distribute all of the workloads. That is an option you could do. So at least then everything kind of like has a chance to load at once. And at least for the case of SimThreads, because it does process up to like a single frame's worth per frame. So you have like 60 FPS left in the budget per frame, which you can also tweak. So it'd be like eventually as more and more tasks go away, the faster this process would be since there's less to do at once. And then before you know it, you've completed your task and you don't have to worry about anything else. I think that is probably something I would do for staging case of just loading multiple things at once. If you wanted that as an option. Especially for something like repeating. Like, if it's stuck on a task and you don't want it to be constantly stuck on that single task, you want to be able to do other work while it's working. Yeah, and you can do that, definitely. It wouldn't, I feel like there is a way where you can have it like, say, I suppose you could add like an argument for like, in a sense, to say like, like maybe like must run first. Like this task must run before others. I feel like there is a name for this in this case. Don't think there is a good name for that off the top of my head. But I feel like you could just add in an argument which by default makes it so it has to run before everything else. Does it now? Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, that could work. I think. Yeah, I'd say that could work. Alright, splendid. We're good then. Alright. If you have enemies wielding items when to come for enemies. Yep. Yep. Well, I think this mainly kind of covers everything from what I'm seeing here, so I don't think there is much to go off from here. But I can say so, this is the fastest example I've ever seen. It just works. I can't find bugs in it. There's no bugs for me to find. 10 out of 10. Alright. And you get a gold star. And you get a gold star. I still like the logo. This is so great. Alright. The last one we have is from Terror. They're always with the shader shenanigans. It's always the shader shenanigans. Alright, do we have a demo? Alright, this is me breaking bugs. Try to rush it out for the jam entry. To bugging right now. I got a hotfix made at 1v101. Yep. Uh, no bugs disqualify. Yeah, just disqualify everything. Okay. Press numbers to change example. I looked at my keyboard. I don't see a button called numbers, so no. Disqualified immediately. Disqualified. No, I'm kidding. Alright. We have RG colors blur mask. I probably am going to look at the actual repo though, because I know you said there is bugs in here, so we'll try the Windows example. But while we'll get that downloading, it's already done. I think having fast internet has its own benefits in that everything loads so fast. The downside is that I don't get to wait. If I download a game that's like 1 gigabyte, I don't even have to blink and it's done. Alright, we'll not focus on that. So many blur options. Blur mask can be arbitrary. Okay, we're gonna use the mouse to actually change the blur. Okay. Wait, there's text there. World. World. There is a world. Hello, world. Hello, world. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh my god, I can paint on this? Finally! I'm not the only one with a painter. I can blur paintings now. Yeah. You got like arbitrary image blur shapes, so you can actually like blur things. Like, it is based on the color really. So I guess then, if I go to the examples, not the clouds, not the grass, not that one. I think that was just the texture page, wasn't it, actually? Yeah, this just looks like the texture page. Oh no, actually, yeah. Yeah, so it's literally based on like the colors. My demo has many advantages, but I admit drawing isn't one of them. Yeah, it's okay. Drawing is not something you see every day. You can be variable blur strength at any point. Yeah, I noticed that actually. I noticed that with the mouse wheel. That's nice. And you can like also change a lot. Red and green channels determine blur strength and given axis. Yeah. I won't lie. This must be what it's like not wearing glasses and being really blind. I say this as someone who can't see very far, but I can see just far enough. Like, I think to get roughly my eyesight, yeah, I don't think I can replicate it like this. The examples were recreated as summed area table each frame, which is necessary source image doesn't change. Yeah. For sure. But this is a nice effect, and I don't think it even takes up much GPU either, doesn't it? Oh, and I'm gonna sort my list. Yeah, it's only taking 17, which you could probably run on a mobile phone just fine too. Like, okay, for comparison's sake, in terms of GPU utilization, we have... Get out of here. We got OBS doing its thing. Then you got the actual blur shader. Then you have Desktop Window Manager. Then you got VTube Studio, Tits. You also got that Game Maker game. Someone was saying a Game Maker game. That's not how it's meant to be. What the hell? You also do, yes. But I kind of don't at the same time. By going back into this, the browser one is popping up. But like with the browser one running as well, my GPU utilization is not happy, but it's like about the same as the Game Maker example. It's about the same. Oh, right. Yeah. I think if I put it on the other window I have. Alright, I think it's doing a little bit better because of it's on full scaled up. Yeah. Like it seems to work just fine with the fallback from the looks of it. That doesn't work. Alright, well, that's fine. That's okay. I know what to do for the demos. I have it perfectly. Alright, you ready? Once again, I'm going to flex. That is not what I was meant to do. I'm going to add this one little extension. It's flexing time. Alright, you see how I got this? I'm gonna now full screen that, go there. I can go through tabs. It doesn't pause. If I delete this and I run it again, so there's another instance entirely. See, this pauses, this doesn't pause. Complete utter control. This is the same flex I was showing with Alice's library. I really need to get around to releasing this. I really do. It's kind of utmost important. But yeah, I mean, I did see something when I was looking at the demo. There was like a red light somewhere. I don't think I'm seeing it now. Actually, I wonder, I have a Mac. I could probably just check to see if I can get a similar result on Mac. I'm gonna check my Mac real quick. Because if I can replicate it on my Mac, then yeah. I mean, I think the one thing I say the argument is more appropriate is it'd be nice to have a game where you can have your own pause menu. Because the GX one is just crap. Like, it's crap that you can't customize it. But I just get rid of it because it's like, you know what? I don't want the blur. I don't want this box. You can just have your own. Alright. I'm making a Mac build. If this doesn't work because my Mac is be Macking moment, that's fine. Alright. Got my Mac up. Oh. Oh. I can tell you right now, it's really not liking it on Mac. But the dev demo works. I'm gonna get a screenshot. Lots of thin lines, if anything. Thin lines everywhere. Right, I guess having some out of focus event could help too. Maybe there's already an event. Like, no, there is OS is pause, which is the closest you have to an event, but you have to run that in a step event or some other step, like some other event that runs every frame. That's the only choices you get. The intent, at least in my one, was like, you can do whatever you want with it, and that's fine. I don't care. Alright. Can close this window, close this window. I had the screenshot here. There we are. I forget how a Mac works sometimes. I do not care about that. Alright. I've sent the screenshot to you just now. But I've kind of noticed this everywhere in all the demos. There's always some kind of like weird RGB like line going on. Or like line issue. But this is also just on Mac. It might be the same for Linux. But it's kind of nasty looking. But I can tell you, the def demo works. It works on Mac. So, at least that's not the same problems as GX Games, but it's a different problem. Other than that, this is a pretty simple demo. And the setup for this is... okay. You got destination source blur. Okay. True. How do I check if the fallback is on? Actually. I just have to print it, don't I? Maybe if I force it. Actually, does it actually tell you at all if it ever uses fallback anywhere? Okay, it does. Alright, I'll rerun on Mac. No. There's no warning here. There's literally everything in the log. So it looks like it's is using not a fallback. Alright, let's try forcing the fallback. I'm gonna force the fallback and see how that goes. Yeah. I'm using the fallback config. Because you have that too. Okay. Well, I can tell you one thing now. the def example, the 3D example, no longer works. It's the same as GX game, so it looks like the fallback just might be the issue in general. But I can tell you the fallback also works fine. My guess, if anything, is that the shader itself in the regular one just might not be accounting for I guess like a distance check. Maybe. Maybe. It might not. But, like, here's the thing. One thing I do know about Mac and Linux is that, unlike on Windows where it converts to LSS, unlike Windows where it converts to DirectX space shaders, the DirectX space shaders are more forgiving in terms of what you write. But as soon as you get to like a GLSLES like platform or like any OpenGL based platform, it's way less forgiving. So my assumption is that at least one of these shaders could not be accounting for something, but also it could just be a precision issue. It could be. I could further verify by booting up my Linux PC. Actually, you know what? I may as well. I'm gonna verify. We'll have 3 source of truths that way. Because I know Mac is also a little bit weird. I'll be like a second. It takes a bit. It's a big PC. It likes power. Alright, give me that keyboard. Alright. Just waiting for Cache OS to boot through. Okay, I can now run it. Linux should probably do better. Nope, I thought so. It's literally just... It seems like Linux is also the exact same problem. So I don't know if that's actually a precision issue. It might just be you having forgiving shaders on Windows. I am probably certain on that. I feel like if I tinkered around and like mess around with it for a bit, I could probably get it down to that. Actually, yeah, right here. This kind of check. Do we have any else like that? No. Well, at least I know for the fallback, this check would technically not be really precise, probably. But I think that's usually more equal, so. Not really too sure, actually. I didn't run fallback, no. I was going to in a minute, but like I just wanted to see what the normal one is. The big float. With the fallback applied, that just it's the exact same as it is on Mac and Opera GX. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening here that's causing this issue. I don't even complain the fact it's not a fallback either. Yeah, definitely. I think that is another point of time where I'll do that though, because I don't think I want to do that right now. But either way, it's probably even down to some kind of, like, I don't know if it's really a precision issue, because I know, at least for my Linux PC, it's beefier. But I suppose there could be something else happening here that I'm not really seeing. Other than that, I think this is nice. It's a decent little blur shader. Lightweight. Thanks for submitting it. I appreciate it. Alright. That is literally every single submission that we have available that I've reviewed. Except for Spout 2. That is literally it. I've reviewed everything. It's only been 2 hours. What do I do now for the next 2 hours? What do we do for the next 2 hours? I'm kidding. No. I think this has actually been rather kind of interesting overall. At least every single submission here. Yeah, so efficient. Only 4 reviews. Sleep? Sleep is for the week. I don't sleep. No, I'm kidding. I have things I gotta finish off, like, for the next hour or so I will at least be awake for some time. I got things to catch up on. I guess I can just show Spout 2. I may as well. I already have the repo, so I don't even need to download it. I mean, if you haven't seen the drawing app already itself, this is literally what I'm using for Spout 2. It's just be able to zoom in, so I can zoom real in, anywhere, and just draw. Like, that's literally all this is for. It's just be able to, like, zoom, draw, it's on screen, exactly over here, where I've drawn it from here. That's all it is, but, like, I'll show you the actual example, because the actual example is literally the exact same thing. But a little bit more detailed. Because it shows this side. Yeah, so actually like show everything here, but it won't show the text here. It's got an FPS, it's got a frame counter. It's also got, I don't have a clear button. It's also got, it tells you the width, the height. It tells you if frame counting is enabled or not, which is based on the registry value I found out with Spout 2, and test. I actually was gonna work in the receiver side, but decided not to. Oh, hello. Oh, I am so gonna butcher this, aren't I? You know, I'm gonna call you Pro. You know what? Pro's good. Hello, Pro. How are you doing? I am mostly wrapping up at this point with my stream. But yeah, that's all it is. It's just a little simple thing. The reason why I prefer Spout 2 is, as I said, for the same reasons. Is I just want to be able to like kind of draw on screen demonstrations and do it wherever. Because I think, because otherwise it's kind of really hard for me, because there is other software. There's an OBS plugin I know for drawing, but that's limiting. in what I can do. Even the newest ones have been released recently, which has like a ton of features. I still find it limiting. I also don't want it in OBS. And then there's also this another one called Epic Pen, which I've used ages ago. And it's just a little on-screen doodle app, which I've tried using in the past, and I don't mind it. It's not popping up. Alright, it's popping up now. Which is also kind of nice. But the problem is that it's also not overlaid on the screen. It's like only on the desktop capture. So that's at least not what I like. I don't like Epic Pen for that. There's also a similar version which Neri recently pointed out to me, which is from Power Toys, if I recall. I don't think it's in this version. But no. I'm going to be able to draw. I also wanted tablet support, so the whole tablet aspect is literally just so I can actually change the pressure as I go along. Like so. That is probably the main things I've been using at this point. That's all I use Spout 2 for. Spout 2 can be used for other applications if you have it in mind. Like I'm already using Spout 2 for VTube Studio. And I kind of just realized that there's also a capture for Twitch integration throwing just now, which I never knew. Alright. I think that is all though. That is every Cookbook Jam submission done. We did this entire jam did good. It did good. There was totally no bugs whatsoever. None at all. Just don't look underneath the bed or in the closet. And you'll be fine. Alright. This is your favorite cat. This is your favorite elf. This is Tabular Elf. And I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to do another Cookbook Jam in the near future. Maybe in like, I don't know, 2 months. Maybe. I don't know. See ya. You're welcome. Ta-ta. I'll see you on Discord. Yes, I want prefabs. We need prefabs. Everyone needs prefabs. You know, I'm coming back. I need prefabs. I need user prefabs everywhere. I know you're still bugging me for a GM room loader. I still gotta get back to that. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, now I'm gonna leave.